here. Life after money. I've been absent for a few weeks because, well, I get busy. I do other things. But I thought I'd better do 1 or 2 more videos because, well, I don't know why really, because I just like talking. That's me, I like talking. Yes, I've had my crafty head on for a while, my arts and crafts head, and I like to give myself challenges on what to make. I like to play with ideas. I've got an ideas table here. It's got all kinds of bits and bobs on it, and to most it looks like a complete mess, but it's things that I can play with. It's things that I can jiggle about and move about and change around and see what works and see what doesn't work. So that's what I do. I sit here at the table every morning with my coffee and play with stuff. Anyway, the challenge I set myself recently is what can I put on 8 boards. Now I've got 8 of these boards, 8 inches by 6 inches I think. A lot of boards out of a skip, and I thought, well, what can I do with that? Yeah, I want to challenge and put something on the boards and hopefully not use glue. I'm not a big fan of glue, but I thought, well, why not stitch through the board? Yeah, make holes and stitch through it. So this is what I've made. I'll show them to you one at a time. Washers. So I varnished all the boards first, and just 2 coats of very cheap varnish, and I thought, I've got loads of washers. Didn't bother to clean them, paint them, colour them in any way, and what I did was make holes in the boards with a map pin, little map pin, and it's ply, so it's quite soft actually, and if you push hard the map pin will go right the way through. So I put these on. I'm not sure if I'm in shot. Can I just go around and check? I'm just going to check to see how close I've got to get to the camera. Oh, sort of about there-ish. That's about right, isn't it? You can see that the washers are on there. So right, I must keep that position in mind, because that's where I've got the whole of the boards up to. So this is washers, and the back is just the threads knotted up so that they stay in place. So no glue on that one. This second one, I did actually use glue on it. The idea in the beginning was to cut some small pieces of fabric with pretty patterns, pictures and anything, postage stamp size. So what I did first was I actually made a grid, so you can see at the back, I made a grid with wire and just fastened it at the back, and then fastened it in the front as well. And then I thought, well, I'll get some small pieces of fabric and actually stitch them to the wire. And then I realised that's not going to work, because I've only got 2 sides on the corners, of course. Would be okay in the middle where I've got 4 sides to stitch it to. So anyway, I then used PVA glue and just glued them on. But yeah, each one I've got a little bit of wire across the top, and the little oops, I'm trying to reach something here to show what the corner pieces are. Oh my goodness, what a mess. I can't find anything. I can't find anything in here. A bit of trimming. No, never mind, give it up, give up. Oh, there it is, look. A bit of trimming. So the little plastic things in the corner, silver coloured, I just found them on that, you see. So I don't know what it is. Piece of trimming, cut them off, stick them on. I've had to use super glue to stick them on because it needed to be a strong fix. So yeah, I'm going to quickly move on now. So bits of fabric stuck on. Buttons. Well, you can put buttons on, can't you? You can make holes and sew buttons on a piece of wood. So I've got one big button there, and use the smaller buttons to go around the edge, and some green buttons are made of flower. Yeah, I quite like that one actually. What I wanted to do was something simple, not overthink things and stop before it gets too complicated. So that was just a simple idea: sew buttons on in a flower shape on a piece of wood. What could be more simple than that? I copped out on this one really. This was actually the last one I did, and I really wanted to get it done, but I've got some of these shapes, the glitter shapes. They are a sticky back, so I thought, well, that's the easy way out. And the button things in the middle, these are actually drawing pins with painted in nail varnish and glitter. So there you are. I just stuck them on because I thought I need to move on now and do something else. So this was the last one. Are you with me? Slate. I've got some small pieces of slate, and I wanted to attach them. It's quite heavy actually, and I wanted to attach them, but didn't want to glue them because I think if you use glue, there's that many different types of glue, and you've got to be sure to use the right one for the job you're doing, because you don't want it to be falling off in about 6 months to a year. So again, I stitched this on. So I used pretty bits of cord, different colours, and I dipped these pieces of slate. They're just random pieces, I didn't cut them or anything. I just dipped them in the varnish so that they are nice and shiny. Alright, and this is a cop out as well, because I didn't have to use much thought with this, because I've made these flowers before, so really it's just something to do again. I'm trying to come and think up with new ideas. So this is the point of it, new ideas. But I thought, yeah, easy to make felt flowers. Stitch them with embroidery, sequins, a button in each one, and I just stitch them onto the board. and then I came up with another idea. The word puzzle came into my head, and I thought, yeah, I've got a jigsaw puzzle, small puzzle, which I bought for, I don't know, 50 pence or something, because I thought it might be useful to make something with. Anyway, I've got only a few pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, and I thought, what's the normal way of making up a jigsaw puzzle? You find the four corners first, and you find the straight edges and make up the outside of it. But then I've just turned it around a little bit. I've got the four corners in the centre, in the middle, and then I've just found random pieces of the puzzle. They don't match at all, they're not supposed to go where I put them, and I just thought, yeah, well, life is a puzzle. You get bits and pieces that won't fit together in your whole life, don't you? I do anyway. And why not just stick them together and see what happens? So the puzzle that doesn't fit together, which and then just stitch them on, no glue on that one. But and then I thought I want to do a bit of weaving. I've been watching YouTube videos about weaving, and I thought, yeah, that would be quite good. How do you weave on a board? Well, I wrapped the string all the way around the outside, and and that's what I've come up with. So I've done a little bit of weaving as the background. Now the tree, I found a lady called Lorna, who is Spanish, and she does lots of beautiful weavings, and I watched very closely on how to make a tree. So that's my little weaving piece. I like that. I'm going to do that again, which has then got me on to weaving. So, and then I found a video on how to make a loom, because I don't have any weaving looms at all. So I found a small canvas that had got a damaged canvas to it, so I ripped the canvas off and I made a loom with that. So I watched a YouTube video on how to do that. So little tacky nails, measure the distances out. On the video it said 2 rows. I don't think that's really necessary, but anyway, that's what I did. So with that small loom I then made that small weaving. I like this, it's so dinky. And for the top I put a pencil through, colouring pencil, and it showed how to make the fringes, tassels, how to weave them in. I always like to add a bit of stitching to, I don't know, to everything. I just feel compelled that I've got to stitch things. So that's my little weaving, which I think is cute. And then I thought, well, I'll make a bit bigger weaving, so I want a bit bigger loom, and so I've made a bigger loom out of a bigger picture frame. This is just a picture frame, which is a little bit bashed at the corners, so I thought, well, I may not use it as a picture frame. So I've put 1 single row across top and bottom, measured it out, and I've used that loom, bigger loom, to make this. Right. So my bit bigger weaving, and it's hanging on a red plastic knitting needle that just happened to fit across there. I've used wool as the warp. I think that works better than string, because I think you do need a little bit of give, a little bit of flexibility in those. If it's too tight, you might not be able to get something through. So anyway, yeah, this is what I've ended up with. It's a mini sort of landscape. Again, I wanted to stitch on it, so I've used felt, 2 trees. It's a little landscape, it's got a sun, and there you are, French knots along the bottom. So let me just stand up and see if you can see that properly, because I don't know if I'm in shot. I've got to look at the back of the camera to see whether I'm showing it you correctly. Yeah, well, yeah. So I now learned how to do weaving and getting these lines to go up and down. There's such a lot to learn in weaving. I am going to carry on doing it because it's quite good fun. On the back of there, let me just take that cat hair off. Cat hairs everywhere. I put a piece of felt, because obviously the back's going to get messy with all the stitching. So I've covered it up, and it does look quite neat and tidy. So there you are. Now, if you haven't got a loom, there's other things you can do regarding weaving. I have got this. Now, it's a metal shelf. I got it out of a fridge, a small fridge, which I found on a tip. So it had got 2 shelves in. This is the bigger one. And I'll show you what I did with the smaller one. This was the smaller of the 2 shelves that went in the fridge. So what I've done is I've just wrapped wool around around it, wrapped wool around it, and there's the back. So I've just threaded different coloured wool onto a needle, all different lengths, because I wanted them all different sizes. Didn't have to be all exactly the same sizes, so I've got little squares, and I thought stitch a little bit of bling on the front. I've wrapped the outside with black wool and put a little black hanger on it, so that's a cute little wall decoration. So I'm having fun in my studio. Is that what you call it? Studio. This is my house and it's my studio. I live amongst my bits and bobs. So anyway, I'll let you go now because my tummy's rumbling and I need to eat. And I'll get this onto YouTube, and thank you for watching. Thank you for being patient and waiting for my YouTube videos. I need to be doing a few more. So okay, this is me, Queen. Life after money. Bye.